In this video we're going to learn some Irish words, and we're also going to figure out how to pronounce these words in the 3 different dialects of the Irish language. So let's get on with it. So let's start with the Irish for mouse. I would pronounce this luch, luch, as is the way it's pronounced in the Munster dialect, luch. It's also pronounced this way in Connacht, luch, but in Ulster there's kind of a more silent sound at the end and it's pronounced lu, lu. Moving on to teach, which is the Irish for house, teach. So I'm pronouncing it that way, it's the way it's pronounced in the Connacht dialect, teach. But in Munster it could also be pronounced tig, tig. And in Ulster, cha. Again, there's a kind of a silence with the ch at the end, which is a feature of the Ulster dialect, cha in Ulster. So in Connacht, teach, in Munster, tig, and in Ulster, cha. Moving on to the Irish for free, which is saor, saor. That's the way it's pronounced, generally speaking, in Munster, saor. But in Connacht, sear, sear. And it's the same as that in Ulster, sear. So it's saor in Munster and sear in the other 2 dialects. A word related to that, Saoránach, Saoránach. This is the Irish for a citizen, Saoránach. So that's the way I'm pronouncing it as per the Munster way. In Connacht then it's Saoránach, Saoránach. And in Ulster, Saoránach, Saoránach. There's less of an emphasis on the aw sound for a fada in Ulster. So Saoránach in Munster, Saoránach in Connacht, and Saoránach in Ulster. Next we have Sráidbhaile, which is the Irish for village, Sráidbhaile. That's the way it's generally pronounced in Munster, Sráidbhaile. In Connacht then, Sráidbhaile, Sráidbhaile. So there's more of a W sound there for the BH. And in Ulster, Sráidbhaile, Sráidbhaile. Again, the a fada is not, it doesn't have as much of an aw sound in Ulster, it's more of an a sound. Next we have Crann. Crann is the Irish for a tree, Crann. That's the way it's pronounced in Munster. In Connacht then, it's more like Crann, Crann. Kind of rhymes with like a lawn or something like that, Crann. And then in Ulster, Crann, Crann. So we have Crann, Crann, and Crann. Next we have the Irish for a hill, which is Cnook, Cnook. That's the way it's pronounced in Munster. And in the other 2 dialects it's Crook, Crook. Next, Leaba. So there's not a whole lot of difference between the Munster and the Connacht way. I would say Leaba. You might get a pronunciation like Leaba in Connacht, but there's not a whole lot of difference. But in Ulster then, Leabi, Leabi. Next we have the Irish verb Críochnaigh, which is to finish, Críochnaigh. So I'm pronouncing it the way it's pronounced in Munster, Críochnaigh. In Connacht then we have more of a silence at the end of that word. It goes like this, Críochnaigh, Críochnaigh. And in Ulster, Críochnaigh, Críochnaigh. So quite a difference there in the 3 ways of pronouncing that, as you can see. Next, Críochnaigh, which is finished, Críochnaigh. So that's the way it's pronounced in Munster, Críochnaigh. In Connacht then, Críochnaigh, Críochnaigh. In Ulster then it's Tríochnaigh, Tríochnaigh. Moving on to the verbal noun, ag canadh. This is singing, ag canadh. It's pronounced ag canadh in Munster and in Connacht. But in Ulster it's more like ag canú, because very often the ADH in Ulster makes an oo sound. Next we have the Irish verb doig, which is to burn, doig. In Connacht, dói, dói, and it's the same in Ulster, dói. Moving on to scríobh. So in Munster and Connacht, this verb, which is the verb to write, by the way, scríobh, it's pronounced scríobh in Munster and Connacht, generally speaking, but in Ulster, Scríobh, Scríobh. Next we have Grianmhar, which is the Irish for sunny, Grianmhar. So I'm pronouncing that the Munster way, Grianmhar. In Connacht then it's Grianmhar, Grianmhar, and it's very, very similar in Ulster, Grianmhar. So there's more of a V sound for the Munster way, Grianmhar, and more of a W sound at the end for the Connacht and Ulster way. So Grianmhar for Connacht Ulster, Grianmhar for Munster. Next, Granúr, which is the Irish for funny, Granúr. I'm saying it the Munster way. In Connacht, it's more Graunúr, Graunúr. And in Ulster, Grannar, Grannar. Make sure you check out this website here, www.folklore.ie. This is a really great and free online Irish-English, English-Irish dictionary. You can learn lots of words, phrases, and best of all, you can listen to the audio pronunciation from the 3 different dialects of the Irish language. So it's definitely well worth checking out this fabulous resource. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll be back very soon. Thanks for being with me, and I'll see you next time. Slán go fóill.